Namaskar. Welcome to this session. We have commenced the Antarayas, and the first of the Antarayas is Vyaadi, and we did have little orientation to Vyaadi from Vyasa's commentary, which is Dhatu Rasa Karana Vaishamyam is Vyaadi. See, it can be also considered by layman as fitness and unfitness. Good health means fitness, and ill health is considered to be unfitness. Now, here we should understand even fitness has various levels. And then there are different parameters to test the fitness. Although in general pathology we just take pathological tests and then we have some basis to declare whether somebody is healthy or somebody is not healthy. But then there are different levels of fitnesses. So although you might be healthy, as a layman, common man, you might be healthy. The pathological reports will reveal that you are healthy. But then if you wish to become a pilot of aircraft, and then you go through the tests, then you can be declared unfit. Because the fitness level to be just a clerk or just to be in some vocation, profession, job, service, the fitness level is one there. But to be going to police service, military service, or to become a pilot of aircraft, it requires different level of fitness. The fitness level of a clerk and fitness level of a pilot, fitness level of a clerk and fitness level of an army officer, there is a big difference. So you might be fit for something, that doesn't mean that you are fit for everything. So if you are unfit, that means you don't have required health. So health to be a clerk and health to be a sportsman. And then also so many things like athletes and various sports. The fitness of a billiard player and fitness of tennis player, fitness of a carom player and fitness of football player. There is huge difference. So what is being spoken of here is primarily, basically, it should be understood that it is fitness for samadhi. Fitness for samprajnat, asamprajnat samadhi. So we should not lose this advertence. Then, of course, we can be circumscribing that concept and going around it and understanding the Vyaadi and absence of Vyaadi. So when Vyasa has spoken about Dhatu Rasakarana Vaishamyam, it is not to be an ordinary being or being of some ordinary walk of life and business activity of life, but for samprajnat asamprajnat yogi. So if you are healthy to be doing your worldly activity, it doesn't mean that you have the fitness to be doing samprajnat samadhi. If you have fitness to be a sportsman and athlete and perhaps an Olympian or an astronaut or a pilot, it doesn't mean that you have the health required for samadhis. So this Vyaadi particularly, specifically, is with reference to activity or the qualification or empowerment to be going for sampragnat asampragnat samadhi. But in understanding that, we can also understand generally the concept of Vyaadi as an obstacle. So we should not lose the advertent that here the Vyaadi means obstacles, obstructions, which is disqualifying someone to be going for asampragnat samadhi or getting asampragnat samadhi, getting asampragnat samadhi. So that is to be understood. Now we can slightly go around the concept and try to understand generally the concept of Vyaadi. Because for you and me, for our yoga also, we have obstructions and obstacles by way of Vyaadi. Now, it doesn't mean that we are looking at the parameters of our health for sampragnat asampragnat samadhi, because that's the highest yoga. For our yoga also, we have concept of fitness and unfitness. So therefore we say, come across the conditions. Today I am fit to be doing, today I am not fit to be doing, I am unfit to be doing it today, etc., etc. So let's understand this flexible concept of fitness and unfitness, or fitnesses and unfitnesses. So specifically it is for the level of sampragnat asampragnat samadhi textually as it comes. But then it also considers the whole concept generally. Now, let's understand general concept of this. Sharira swasthya. Sharira swasthya is the condition that we seek. And Sharira aswasthya is Vyaadi. If you are having aswasthya, that means ill health. If you are not having good health or having ill health, both are diseases. So there is a difference between not having a good health and then having ill health. And this health and ill health, or lack of health and ill health, or health and unhealth and ill health, we should try to understand how far it is citta dhina. It is greatly dependent on citta. Even if you say that you have a physical problem and it is actually depending on your citta. Even if you have congenital body disease or genetic body disease, it is again citta. Because citta is a wider concept, you should know. Even if it is accidental condition and because of which your body is battered, again see how it is related to citta. Accident was part of your destiny, and destiny is something that is in the realm of citta. So much is citta dependence of health and ill health, or health and lack of health. Since yoga is chitta vijnana shastra. Therefore, this point was worth considering. And that's why I gave you some thought matter to look at our health and ill health, or health and lack of health, how it is related to our chitta, or maybe just grossly the mind. If you lose your body health, you know that it impacts your mind. Because you say, I am not well. So, although it might be something very physical thing that has happened, or to physical body it has happened, yet there is an impact on mind. But we fail to look other way around because of our narrow vision or shallow vision, that state of mind impacts physical condition. So it is both way around, that physical condition impacts the state of mind and psyche consciousness, and state of mind psyche consciousness impacts the physical condition. So this is also a matter that one needs to ponder over. That if you lose the health of mind, you lose the health of body. If you lose the health of body, you can also lose the health of mind. So the swasthya, or the health, depends upon both the factors, the body factor matter and mind matter. Body factors and mind factors. Now this is what yoga has the perspective to look at the concept of health or a lack of health. So there we understand there is a mind-body relationship. But in case of accidents, we fail to look at it, that there is a body-mind relationship. After accident has happened, we know the mind is devastated, our mind is vexed or tormented. But we do not look at the mind as a causal factor of accident. Whereas philosophy tells us that mind is also there as a causal factor behind accidental happenings. Accidents are not really accidents. Accidents are actually planned. Even if you don't plan and somebody else doesn't plan, they are planned by destiny. So destiny is in the realm of chitta. Destiny is in the realm of deeper mind, and therefore it comes as a causal factor as well. And effectual factor, we know it, that if you have an accident and body is devastated, your mind too is tormented, vexed or devastated. So there is actually nothing like accidental thing. So this is what a philosophical mind understands. It doesn't believe in something accidental. So, and you know how much accidental things work on our health condition, or our state of well-being and wellness and health and lack of health, etc., or the health dwindling. Because it is all karma vipaka, it is all karma-phala. Accidents are part of karma-phala. And the karma-phala is in the domain of citta. The karma is also in the domain of citta. The prarabdha karma is in the domain of citta. The karma which is going to fructify is in the domain of citta. So that's how we have to understand the chaitic component. Even in so-called accidental things, chaitic components, even so-called physical things or body-related things. And therefore, the statement that sharira swasthya, wellness of shariram, is chitta-adhinam, is dependent on the chitta. There is a quotation which I recall from Garuda Puranam. Chittayattam dhatu vashyam shariram chitte nashto dhatavo yanti nashanam tasmat chittam sarvada rakshaniya swasthe chitte dhatava sambhavati. That if you really want to protect your health, today we will just go for immunities or some preventive vaccines, inoculations, etc., etc. That's how we think we can prevent something. But little philosophical insight will tell you, chittayattam dhatu vashyam shariram. This body is chittayattam and dhatu vashya. It is dependent on chitta and it is under the control of dhatus, vata, pitta, kapha, and then sapta dhatus, tridoshas and sapta dhatus. Therefore, if you are careless and callous about chitta, you are creating room for ill health in the shariram, in your body. So if you want to really protect your health, you just can't go by developing autoimmune system by the processes that you get in sciences, man-made sciences, man-discovered sciences. But the chitta must be protected. Sarvada rakshaniyam is what Garuda Purana says. So that you will be swastha chitta. So if you are swastha chitta, then you have good balanced dhatus. And then you will have health. So this is what you get insight from philosophy, yogic philosophy. So to maintain balance in dhatus, usually you get dietetic instructions and advices. Eat this, don't eat this way and don't eat that way, eat this much and don't eat that much, etc., etc. But that is so shallow consideration. Swastha chitta is a fundamental cause of having swasthya. This is what the philosophy tells us. Because dhatu nirmiti is a constant process. The sharir dhatus, the keels of the body are constantly being created and generated. And then it greatly depends upon not only what your intakes are in terms of digestive system, intaking system of the food, but it is also dependent on your state of mind. What is the point in taking very nutritious food, very disciplined food, square meals, etc., and at proper point in time, right point in time, rightly taken, etc. But then if your chitta is in desire, you are not going to get good health. Your health is not just ensured by taking right kind of food under the instructions of a dietitian, maybe the greatest dietitian of our times in the world, but it depends upon your state of mind. Even if you are given perfect food that way, but you are all the time kept under tensed conditions, stressed conditions, fearful conditions, how are you going to digest? How will your digestion will be? So the digestion is also important for you to have your health, and not just a dietitian's advice or dietitian's scrupulous monitoring. It is your state of mind, which is going to contribute for process of digestion, and the dhatu nirmiti. Dhatu nirmiti will take place by your state of mind. If you are all the time or generally under stress, tension, worry, anxiety, fear, etc., and unhappiness. So you just can't bother about what to eat and what not to eat and how much to eat and how much not to eat. But your state of mind is so important, because the state of mind is going to vitally contribute for your process of digestion and turning out the enzymes on which your health would depend. So understand how citta is so vital. Anyway, so now try to once again understand Vyasa's comment. Vyaadi dhatu rasakarna vaishamyam. So Vachaspati Mishra expands the statement of Vyasa. So he opens it out by saying, Dhatavo vatapitta shleshmanaha. Vatapitta kapha are dhatus. And so he says, Dhatavo vatapitta shleshmanaha sharira dharanat. Ashita pitahara parinama vishesho rasaha. The rasaha means whatever food you have taken in, and then whatever happens in your body, like healthy food doesn't make you healthy. The healthy food goes into the body and the physiology turns out some chemicals, and your health depends upon those chemicals which are turned out by your body. And the chemicals which are turned out by your body are called rasa. Karanani indriyani tesham vaishamya nyunadhika bhavaha is the meaning of it. So karanani indriyani, all indriyas, pachanendriya, shvasanendriya, jananendriya, all the organs of body, what is called generally as systemic organs, all organs of body, all organs of mind, all organs of our limbs, they are all called indriyas. Karma-indriya, jnanendriya, manasendriya, sharirendriya, which means pachanendriya, shvasanendriya, abhisaranendriya, jananendriya, visargendriya. So many systems are there in our body. Skeletal-muscular system, two glandular system, two psychomental system, you have digestive system, you have reproductive system, you have respiratory system, you have circulatory system, you have endocrine system. So all the various systems which are spoken of in book of anatomy, they are all called as indriyas, and any imbalance in them is diseased condition. You may not have dis-ease, but it's a disease. Even if you don't feel that dis-ease, yet it is a disease. And here you have to understand that you might have a disease, but if you are not at dis-ease, you don't consider that as disease. And many times you don't have disease, and yet you have a dis-ease, which happens many times in investigative pathology or clinical pathology. So you are told that you have cancer. And then what happens to you? You start getting dis-ease. You don't say, I'm happy, I've got this cancer and that cancer. So you are unhappy with any cancer that you have. Now this is the diagnostic reading which says you have a cancer. But it is possible that you don't have any cancer. Just the idea that you have a cancer itself gives you dis-ease. So no disease, but yet dis-ease. And many times we have experienced the diagnostics having gone wrong. When the diagnostics go wrong, you don't have that particular disease, but then you are at dis-ease. So without a disease, you can have dis-ease. With a disease, you may not have dis-ease. And that's why you have a disease and not identified. Not identified for a long time. And maybe, if you imagine, 400-500 years back, people were having diseases, but they never got it identified because of lack of pathology, etc. And maybe 8, 10, 15 years were carried out with the disease carried by the body, but for many years no disease at all. And at some stage, for the sake of death, the disease came, and then it was there was the deduction or inference. Yes, there was perhaps a disease to this person. Anyway, so from common man perspective, with Ayurvedic wisdom, Vata Pitta Kaphadi Prakopa is a disease. Imbalance and then Prakopa. So either Vata defect getting flared up, or Kapha defect getting flared up, or Pitta defect getting flared up, or Vata dosha, Kapha dosha, Pitta dosha getting flared up. There we understand Dhatu Vaishamya very easily. So with Dhatu Vaishamya, what happens? A disease occurs. That's why in Ayurveda they say this is Vata disease, this is Vata-borne disease, this is Kapha-borne disease, this is Pitta-borne disease. Now when the body system is not functioning properly, even when you take in water, pure water, uncontaminated pure water, yet water can create a problem in you. Why? Because the system is not working properly. If the system is not working properly for any reason, apart from Vata, Pitta, Kapha, then you can understand it is Rasa Vaishamyam. So Vata, Pitta, Kapha interfering with their imbalance, naturally there is Rasa Vaishamyam. So if there is Vata dosha in you for some time, then naturally what you take in, food or water, solid, liquid food that you take, it is going to be improperly processed. And therefore there will be Rasa Vaishamya. Because the body organs might have some defect or can have weakness. Sometimes they become weak. So organ becoming weak is one thing, and organ malfunctioning is another thing. Insufficiently functioning and malfunctioning both can create different conditions of diseases. So Indriyas might be having nishakti karanam, that is some weakness, or what is called mandata, they start having hypoactivity. So when the body organs are hypoactive, you have disease condition. When the body organs are hyperactive, you have again disease condition. So any organ of the body can be active, but then when it is active, it can be hypoactive or hyperactive, overactive or underactive, and in both the cases there will be diseased condition. Then it's also worthwhile looking into commentary of Rajamartanda Vritti, Bhoja Raja's Rajamartanda Vritti, because Bhikshu has more or less same comment as Vachaspati has given. He says, Vyaadi dhatu vaishamya nimitto jvara adi. So he comes closer to our conditions. Jvara adi. So jvara also has been considered, which is fever. Now, this fever is a condition that is for you and me, the mortals, and which obstructs our business activity of life to start with. So anyway, disease condition, it has to be understood how it would be a Vyaadi for one who is asampragnat, sampragnat, samadhi caliber. So his fitness level is to be considered, and not just our fitness level to be considered to go by purport of the sutra, but we can circumscribe our conditions as well in Vyaadi. So basically, dhatu rasakarana vaishamya is a very comprehensive definition and has an open architecture for diseased condition at any level. Even a realm of yoga, someone, a neophyte like you and me, and somebody very proficient yogi. So the parameters of being healthy would be changing. And we see that very much Ayurvedic concepts are coming in a very big way. Dhatu rasa karanam. This is concept in Ayurveda. These are Ayurvedic concepts. And therefore it would be kind of general knowledge. It's kind of GK factor here to understand this Vyaadi, Antaraya. So I would like to draw your attention to Sushruta Samhita. Sushruta Samhita, the Sharira sthana there. Now there is a wonderful classification for having these diseases or diseased conditions. So there are some 7 such factors which are given for Vyaadi. So this is very interesting thing, and it's a matter of GK, general knowledge. So Sushruta Samhita says, Adi bala pravrutta, Janma bala pravrutta, Dosha bala pravrutta, Sanghata bala pravrutta, Kala bala pravrutta, Daiva bala pravrutta, and Swabhava bala pravrutta. Pravrutta means engendered by. So he gives 7 factors which engender Vyaadi, which engender Dhatu Rasa Karana Vaishamya, which engender diseases. So that's why he says Adi Bala Pravrutta. That means what you call as hereditary diseases, hereditary ill health, etc. So that's the hereditary factor. That is called Adi Bala Pravrutta. Then comes the Janma Bala Pravrutta. Janma Bala Pravrutta means Janmataha, by birth. So when you get some such imbalance or some disease by birth, you call it congenital. So that is another cause of disease. So you might have hereditary disease or congenital disease. And then comes Dosha Bala Pravrutta. Dosha Bala Pravrutta can come here and then during change of season, etc. Or then your mismanaged life. Your eating habits have gone wrong, habits of life gone wrong, not sleeping at proper times or not sleeping at usual times, working late nights, etc., etc. The doshas get flared up. So that is Tridosha Bala, the Tridosha Vaishamya. The Tridosha Vaishamya can happen with change of season, which most of you experience. Change of season means the balance in your body chemistries get disturbed. Or your emergencies in life, or your priorities in life Because of priority, you start sleeping late night. You don't sleep until 2 o'clock at night. So you have insufficient sleep due to some contingencies in life. So there are contingencies. That's how human life is made up of. So that is called dosha bala pravruta, because they disturb the body chemistries. Wrong eating, which is not a usual feature, but sometimes it happens that you are traveling all the time and therefore you have eaten unusual food, etc., etc. So that is called that works in disturbing the body chemistry. So our life activities influence our health. Disturbance in life activities, suddenly unusual life activity coming up, because of which you have to get up early in the morning, very early in the morning, which you are not used to, and you get up at 3 o'clock and have to do something, or you don't sleep until 2 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock at night. So 2-3 hours delay in your sleep for some time, which is a contingency. And also priority, you have certain priorities and therefore you disturb your life. Because priority scores over your life conditions. So that is called dosha bala pravruta, because they disturb the body functioning. Then sanghata bala pravruta. Sanghata bala pravruta means various factors coming together. Sanghata means various factors coming together. And this is what we call as accidental. Accidental factors which disturb your body chemistry. So that is sanghata bala pravruta. Then kala bala pravruta. Kala bala pravruta. It is kala means the time factor. This is quite natural. You are going to grow day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year. So when you grow, when you keep on growing, what happens? You at some stage become old. And that is quite natural. So what is called as aging. You come to age. As a child, if you are a child, then you come to age. But when you come to age, you don't stop there. Then you start catching up with the aging, or aging catches with you. So that is kala bala pravruta. So also, as we spoke about seasons, the seasons change, the times change. So the time of your biological existence changes, that is aging, but the time around you changes. That is what is called as seasons. Or you travel a long distance and you get into another continent. So total change in climate and weather, etc. So that is called kala bala. The time means time and space both you can consider. So that is the fifth factor. Then daiva bala pravruta. Daiva bala pravruta means the fate, destiny. The destiny starts coming significantly, raising its hood, and then your life is influenced. And your wellness is influenced. Like you say, I'm in bad times. What is that bad times? So that is daiva bala pravruta. Daiva means the astrological conditions of stars and planets. So when they change, they also impact your health, your wellness and well-being. So that is called fate or destiny. So that is daiva bala pravruta. Then swabhava bala pravruta. Swabhava bala pravruta means these are again very natural factors, such as you get hungry. Then what happens when you get hungry? It is going to trigger some imbalance in your body chemistries. If you get hungry, you can't remain hungry too long. If you remain hungry too long, it's going to disturb your keels of the body, and then it's going to disturb your healthy condition. You will become not so healthy, you will not remain healthy if you are hungry for a long time, or even thirst. So if you are thirsty, the body chemistry changes. Then if you quench your thirst, body chemistry changes. So you must be having signals of your thirst and quenching the thirst properly. If you are hungry, you should be able to identify you are hungry, and then you should quench your hunger also properly, so that the imbalance will not be triggered. But then if you are indiscreet about that and careless about your hunger and thirst, and then you are indiscreet about quenching your hunger and thirst, that's also going to disturb. And these are sharira dharmas. You get hungry because of your body. You get thirsty because of your body. It's a corporeal factor which makes you hungry and thirsty. Or even sleep. The disturbance in sleep is also counted here. So they all work on creating imbalance, and therefore they are potentially strong to create dis-ease or disease. And therefore that is swabhava bala pravruta. So this is a wonderful observation of Ayurvedic wisdom. Adi bala pravruta, janma bala pravruta, dosha bala pravruta, sanghata bala pravruta, kala bala pravruta, daiva bala pravruta, swabhava bala pravruta. So this will help you get some general idea about health and ill health. So if you start getting a share of Ayurvedic wisdom with regards to these 7 factors, you will have better prudence in understanding health and in understanding the lack of health that might crop up at any point in time. And that's why I felt like sharing this with you, the wisdom that is there in Sushruta Samhita, the Sharir Sthanam. Then Sushruta Samhita has also a mention which says, Tad dukkha sanyogo vyadaya uchyante. The sorrow that comes up because of these imbalances is called Vyaadis. So what Vyasa says, see, understand how it has bearing on Ayurvedic tenet. Tat dukkha sanyogo vyadhaya uchyante. When you contact dukkham because of this, if you don't have dukkham, then it's not a disease. So you must contact dukkham because of adi bala pravruta doshas, janma bala pravruta doshas, dosha bala pravruta doshas, sanghata bala pravruta doshas, kala bala pravruta doshas, daiva bala pravruta doshas, swabhava bala pravruta doshas. So when you are really experiencing sorrow, dukkham, then only it is vyadi. If you don't have dukkham, then it is not really vyadi for you, although it might be vyadi in you. So there is something called Vyaadi in you and Vyaadi for you. Without Vyaadi in you, you might have imaginary Vyaadi, or somebody must have put a worm in your mind that you have got this Vyaadi and that Vyaadi, and then you are Vyadhigrasta. Or you may have a Vyaadi, but then you are not Vyadhigrasta. So you are not really engulfed by diseased condition or dis-ease condition, precisely. Ete manaha shariradhisthanaha. He says, te chaturvidha agantava shariraha manasa swabhikascheti. So he says they are fourfold. Agantavaha, agantuka. what you call as accidental, etc. Or shariraha. They might be having locus in very body. Locus in external factors or extraneous factors is agantuka. And sharira factors is shariraha. Manasa factor is manasa. Swabhavika shcheti. Swabhavika factor means your nature. So these are chaturvidha, fourfold. Is extraneous factors, body factors, mind factors, and your nature factor. Your nature itself gives kind of condition to be having disease. Your very nature of the mind, angry nature, you are going to create, that's a potential for you to be getting diseased at some point in time. Although you will be making other people diseased by your anger, you yourself will be getting diseased by your anger. So that's your nature, to be anger, to be passionate, etc., etc. Sometimes you are very compassionate, and that itself makes you diseased because you have what you call hyper sensitive sympathetic system. So that's your swabhava. That is your nature. So your nature also has breeding ground for disease or sprouting ground for disease. So these are chaturvidha. These are again a matter of general knowledge. Agantuka, sharira, manasa, swabhavika. Ta ete manaha shariradhisthanaha. And these have locus in body-mind complex. So basically, dukkha must be encountered. There must be conjunction with dukkham. So that's an important condition of Vyaadi. So this is what I wanted to share from Sushrata Samhita. Charaka has interesting classification. He has interesting divergence. Charaka Samhita, Charakacharya says, there are three causes. This is also another dimension of how one gets diseased condition. So he says, ayoga, ati yoga, mithya yoga. These are the causes of disease. In modern science, we come across such factors such as abuse, misuse, non-use. You have your hands and legs. You have your hands and legs, your limbs, your organs of body. So if you overuse them, you are inviting disease. If you underuse them, you are inviting disease. Or if you are having maluse of those, you are again inviting disease. So non-use, overuse, abuse, or malusage. These are the causes. So this is the wisdom that comes in Charaka Samhita. Ayoga, ati yoga, mithya yoga. Ati yoga means having overuse. Say if you are constantly under very bright sun, and then you know you are going to get diseased condition. If you don't look for shadow, or if you don't go for getting under some roof, and if you are all the time under bright sun, hot sun, you will know you will get some disease condition. So you should know how much you must have sun exposure. And I'll say, unfortunately, we have opposite condition. We have lack of sun exposure in modern lifestyle. We have lack of, they say, D vitamin. We don't get exposed to sun. There is dearth of exposure to sun. But if you are overexposed, again you will have diseased condition. So that's a kind of overindulgence. Then there is something called as non-use, ayoga or mithya yoga. So he has wonderful terminologies. Ayoga, ati yoga, mithya yoga. Ayoga, ati yoga, mithya yoga. So this is what the Charaka tells us about diseases. So if you look into Ayurveda, you will have good amount of database, information base, knowledge base to understand the concept of Vyaadi. And let me draw you towards more philosophical precept. According to Bhagavad Gita, one who is endowed with Jnana Vijnana. So that's what happens in Adhyatmic path, that you are equipped with or you get sumptuously the Jnana Vijnana about life, reality about life. The facts, factuality, reality and actuality of life. That is called Jnana Vijnana. To know reality, to know the fact and to know the actual. So actuality, factuality, reality about the life is called Jnana Vijnana. So also in any realm, if you have this knowledge of actuality, factuality and reality, then your knowledge is more comprehensive. So that's called Jnana Vijnana Sampanna. So he has, such a person has a special perspective of this disease, and that you get in Bhagavad Gita. So therefore, to understand this purport of Bhagavad Gita, let me draw your attention to the Gnaneshwari. And there he has described the Vyaadi Antaraya beautifully. And then we will understand how the Vyaadi is so proximal to us, how close to us. Because many of you might say that you don't have any disease and you are very healthy, but it is very much around the corner. So it's a very interesting passage from Gnaneshwari, but that will be considered in the next session. Enough for the time being. Namaskar all of you.